Hello everyone, welcome to English class. Dear students, today we will complete our chapter number 6. This is Jody's phone. Let us start reading third part, last part of this chapter. And if we talk about yesterday, then we have read like Jody wanted to bring phone at home because after its mother's death, it became alone. So Jody went to forest with Millville, and there he told Millville to return back and left him alone. And he didn't want to show his feelings to others. Okay, so we were reading at page number 92 with this picture. As we can see, he hold the phone in his arms and started his journey towards home. Right. So, second para on page number 92. Look this para carefully. Okay, so he was afraid that it might kick and bleed at sight and smell of its mother. Okay, so he skirted the clearing and pushed his way into the thicket. It was difficult to fight through with his burden. The fawn's leg caught in the bushes and he couldn't lift his own with freedom. He tried to shield its face from prickling vines. Its head bobbed with his stride. His heart thumped with the marvel of its acceptance of him. He reached the trail and walked as fast as he could until he came to the intersection with the road home. He stopped to rest and set the phone down on its dangling legs. It wavered on them. It looked at him and bleated. So, dear students, look at the meaning of the different words first, right? Here is the word bleat, right, which means weak. Okay, wavering cry made by a sheep, goat, or calf. Okay, so it is the sound of crying sound of sheep or goat, or we are talking about the deer here, right? And next word is thicket, which means a dense group of bushes or trees. Okay, then there is the words vines here, okay, which means climbing or trailing woody stemmed plant related to the grapevine. Okay, then it is stride, popped with his stride. Stride means walk with long decisive steps in a specific direction. And then there is a word dangling, right? Dangling means hanging or swinging loosely. Hanging or swinging loosely. Then it is wavered. Wavered means move in a quinging wave, flicker. Okay, and then bleated, again characteristics weak waving cry. Okay, so let's understand what is going on in this para. Okay, so he was very afraid. He got frightened that it might kick and bleed its side. Uh, like he was very frightened. Like it means phone might kick him, or bleed means started crying at sight and smell of its mother if he will see its mother. Okay, and or got smell of its mother because their smelling sense was is very sharp. So he skirted the clearing and pushed his way into the thicket. So he went into the thicket forest. Okay, so he was moving his way into the dense forest so that he would it would not be able to see its mother. It was difficult to fly through with his burden, as he was carrying the phone, so and it was very heavy, so it was very difficult for him to hold the burden of him, hold the weight of him and move, but still he was moving. The phone's leg caught in the bushes, as we have seen in the pictures. For phone's leg was very long, so it was um, caught by the bushes and he couldn't lift his own with freedom because it was very dense forest, so movement was not very easy for them. He tried to shield its face from prickling vines. Okay, he just tried to the grapevines stems and completely the clearing the way, but it was, yes, difficult. Its head bobbed with his stride, so like he was taking very long steps, decisive steps in specific directions. So his head was completely on the direction only. His heart thumped with the marvel of its acceptance of him, and he was very happy as he was carrying the phone, because he was there in search for the phone only, and he got it, and he picked it up and carried to the home. So he was very happy. He reached the trail and walked as fast as he could until he came to the intersection with the road home. So he wanted to cross the forest as soon as possible, so he walked fast and reached the intersection road where he can start journey towards the home. So he stopped to rest. When came out from the dense forest, he just stopped there, wanted to take rest, and set the phone down on its dangling leg. Dangling means, yes, I told you, hanging or swinging legs. So he also brought down the phone from his lap, and it wavered on them. Okay, and it was moving, and it looked at him and bleated. So when he brought down the uh, phone on the on the floor, on the ground, then it was staring Jody and started crying. Bleated, waving, cry. Okay, next he said, on the same page number 92, he said and chanted, I will carry you after I get my breath. He remembered his father saying that a phone would follow if it had first been carried. He started away slowly. The phone started after him. He came back to it and stroked it and walked away again. It took a few wobbling steps towards him and cried piteously. It was willing to follow him. It belonged to him. It was his own. He was light-headed with his joy. He wanted to fondle it, to run and romp with it, to call to it to come to him. He dared not alarm it. He picked it up and carried it in front of him over his two arms. It seemed to him that he walked without efforts. So, dear students, look at the different meanings of the words carefully, and in this, different feelings between them has been shown. And yes, there's a word enchanted, means filled with delighted. He was very happy. And then the word stroked, here, move one's hand gently over a surface repeatedly. Okay, then the word wobbling, which means move unsteadily in a particular direction, means particularly from side to side movement. And then the word fondle. Okay, here it is the word stroke or caress lovingly. Stroke or caress lovingly. Light-headed is given, yes, unable to think clearly. And then the word romp, which means play, and alarm, frighten. So Jody filled with delight as he was told the phone that he would carry it once he had taken a bit of rest. Jody recalled that his father had told him that a phone will follow you once you have carried it for a bit first. As he carried it first, so now phone become wanted to follow him. So once you have carried it for a bit first, Jody started walking at a slow pace, and the phone looked as he walked further. Right, so Jody came back again to Curious and went forward again. This time the phone took a few weak steps in Jody's direction as he cried. So, although wobbling, although moving from here and there, Jody was overjoyed by the fact that it was willing to go with him, which made the phone his own. Right, as Jody carried the phone for some time, so now phone also wanted to be with Jody. So, in with this feeling, Jody felt very happy. Okay, so he was so overjoyed that he couldn't even think properly and clearly. Who? Jody, as he was filled with happiness, like become a phone become his only. So he became so overjoyed that he was not able to think properly and clearly. So at that moment, Jody wanted to caress and it with all his desire, play with it and call it toward him, but he didn't want to frighten him it. Then he picked the phone again in his arms and walked effortlessly, or at least that is what he thought. Right, as the weight of the phone was very heavy, but still he again carried it in his arms. So now on page number 93, next para. Look at the para carefully. I'm going to read out this for you. His arms began to ache and he was forced to stop again. When he walked on, the phone followed him at once. He allowed it to walk with a little distance, then picked it up again. The distance home was nothing. He could have walked all day and into the night, carrying it and watching it follow. He was wet with sweat, but a light breeze blew through the June morning, cooling him. The sky was as clear as spring water in a blue china cup. He came to the clearing. It was fresh and green after the night's rain. He fumbled with the latch and was finally obliged to set down the phone to manage it. Then he had an idea. He would walk into the house, into Penny's bedroom, with the phone walking behind him, but at the steps, the phone barked and refused to climb them. He picked it up and went to his father. Penny lay with closed eyes. Only one word is here, that is barked. The meaning is was unwilling. Rest of the words are very simple. So what happened then? Um, George stopped unwillingly as his arms had started aching. The phone followed him as he walked again. So Jody would only allow the phone to walk a few steps and then pick it up again. Home was almost near. So Jody could have picked it up and watched it follow all day, but he was tired and sweating. A light breeze helped him dry his sweat on that June morning. The sky was so clear that it had been compared to spring water in a blue china cup. He reached the clearing at last, which was green and fresh after the showers last night. It was a bit difficult for him to open the latch of the house, but he could do it once he set the phone down. At first, he thought of making the phone follow directly into Penny's room and surprise him, but the phone refused to climb the stairs, so Jody had to pick him up to his father's bedroom. His dad was resting with closed eyes. So, what happened then? Very simple it was. If they had just described the entrance of Fawn and Jody into his home. Okay, so Jody called, Pa, look. Penny turned his head. Jody stood beside him. The phone clutched hard against him. It seemed to Penny that the boy's eyes were so bright as phones. He said, I am glad you found him. I am glad you found him. So the word clutched means to grasp something tightly. Okay, so Jody called Pa, look. Penny turned his head. Jody stood beside him. The phone clutched hard against him, grasped something tightly. So here the phone grasped Jody very tightly, and it seemed to Penny that boy's eyes were as bright as the phone. The both eyes were shining, and he said, "I am glad you found him." So he was very happy. Penny expressed his happiness over Jody having been able to find the phone. Okay, so they both were very happy. Next, on the same page, Jody then went to the kitchen. The phone wobbled after him. A pan of morning's milk stood in the kitchen safe. The cream had risen on it. He skimmed the cream into a jug. He poured milk into a small gourd. He held it out to the phone. It buttered it suddenly, smelling the milk. He saved it precariously from spilling over the floor. It could make nothing of the milk in the gourd. So Jody went straight to the kitchen. After that, and the phone followed him with his weak steps because they both were very tired. In the kitchen, a pan filled with morning's milk was kept reserved, but cream had formed on it. He skimmed the cream and put it into a jug while he poured the milk in a utensil made of small gourd. The phone sniffed the milk as Jody saved the milk from being spilled. Okay, so the fawn couldn't drink the milk out of the god, means fawn didn't know how to get milk from any other thing. Okay, it was very new task for the phone, so he was just smelling it, like he came to know that it is a milk, it is a food. So but he didn't know how to drink it. So what Jody did for him, on same page, page number 90, he dipped his fingers in the milk and thrust them into Fawn's soft wet mouth. It sucked greedily. When he withdrew them, it bleated frantically and butted him. He dipped his finger again, and as the fawn sucked, he lowered them slowly into the milk. The fawn blew and sucked and snorted. So Jody taught him how to drink the milk from the god. So here is the word frantically here, right? So the meaning of the words in a hurried, excited, okay, or you can say he was very excited or disorganized manner. Next word is butted, which means hit something with the head or horns. Okay, hit something with the head or horns. So what happened then? He dipped his finger. Who? Jody. As you can see in the picture, Fawn is sucking Jody's finger. Okay, and here is the uh, utensil which is filled with milk, but it was not able to drink the milk directly from it. So what then he did? So Jody dipped his finger in the milk and put them in its soft wet mouth. Instantly with the phone sucked greedily because it was very hungry. So he was hungry, which is why when Jody took his fingers out of his mouth, it cried and hit him with his head. But the next time Jody put his finger in the phone's mouth, he gently lowered it so as to bring it near the utensils. So what he did, he just brought down his finger to the god. Right? The phone became impatient, blew the milk as he sucked it, and made sounds. The phone was calm till Jody kept his finger inside the milk and he drank with eyes closed in satisfaction. Jody felt overwhelmed, okay, and on feeling its tongue against his hand as his small tail moved back and forth. So now the fawn blew and sucked and snorted. It stamped its small hoofs impatiently. As long as he held his finger below the level of the milk, the fawn was content. It closed its eyes dreamily. It was ecstasy to feel its tongue against his hand. Its small tail flicked back and forth. The last of the milk vanished in a swirl of foam and gurgling. So, the meaning of the word ecstasy here, ecstasy, which means an overwhelming feeling of great happiness or joy, excitement. Then the word gurgling, last word, which means making or characteristics by hollow bubbling sound. Okay, in drinking things you can make this kind of sound. So what happened then? The phone was calm till Jody kept his finger inside the milk and he drank with eyes closed in satisfaction. And Jody felt overwhelmed on feeling its tongue against his hand as his small tail moved back and forth. So the milk disappeared quickly, forming foam, which was marked by a bubbling sound. And yes, now the phone was satisfied as he got something to drink. And he is also, Jody was also very satisfied because he got the phone at his home. So here is the end of the chapter, which was written by M.K. Rawlings. Okay, and I hope you all have understood it well and enjoyed the story as well. Thank you.